one of the reasons why the African woman cannot find an African husband is because the African men, most of them are going astray. Most of them have joined gangs, illegal activities, and lose their lives in the midst. So a lot of the men are dying. A lot of the men are on drugs. A lot of the men are being incarcerated, locked away. And a lot of the men are marrying men. So there's hardly any man around for the African woman to find to marry. And then some of the men, they are grown up in homes where there's no father. There's no father figure. There's no leader in the home of a man to teach them how to be a father, how to be a provider, how to be a leader as a man. So the father leaves the home, the father is in jail, die on drugs, but the mother have to take up the role of the father. The mother have to take up the role as the provider. So it's very hard for a woman, an African woman, to find an African man today because of what is going on in society. So much of our young black men are in jail, incarcerated. So much of our young black men have started to love their own sex. So much of our own black young men have turned to drugs.
Yes, there is a shortage of men, African men in our community, and as such our women having problems to find husbands, to get married and to build families and structures. What happened? Our women have been left to fend for themselves, to raise the family. They are now the providers, they are the caretakers, they are the protectors, and our men have abandoned their role as fathers, as husbands. And now our men, our young men, because there is no father in the home, the mother has to act as both father and mother, leaving our men, our young men, without proper guidance. And as such, they are now getting into gang warfare, destroying each other, drugs and alcohol. They are also getting into the prisons because of crime. And in the prisons, that is where we are. We are in huge numbers there, which will further add to the problem where our women are unable to find the men. And when they do find a man, the man is unprepared for marriage, he's unprepared for family life, because there's no one in the community to guide and no system in place. There's nothing to educate us as to how we should behave as young men in preparation to becoming husbands. So our women are left by themselves. They are forced to further their education because they would have recognized that we as men have abandoned the role that has been given to us to protect our women, to guide our women, and to protect our families. So since we have abandoned our role, the women are now forced to educate themselves, to seek better jobs, to maintain the family, as they are now the caretaker, and they are acting both role of father, mother, husband, grandmother, and all these different things.
I think we are in transition, and as South Africans, we have to realize that in the past, women have not been so much educated about about their rights and how they should live in marriages, and they are getting to know themselves better. And us as men have to realize that we have empowered women, and we have to learn to live with empowered women. Highly educated women are what we have right now. We have to learn to be with them and live with them. So I think with that change is what is bringing most of, whereby men don't really understand that they now have independent women, and they have to realizing that the dipping in relationships and the divorce rate will lower in the past years. I think men were given the priority in terms of education, in terms of being enlightened, in terms of exposure, and women were just in the houses. They were left in the house in African setup. They were left in the houses to tend to the children and chores. So I think that's what happened in the past. What is happening now is very different. How it's changing, that we're seeing women wanting more for themselves. We're seeing women in most positions of power. We are seeing women going out there to look for it, and they're in the same field with men. So that's what we are saying. We can go to an office and find that the equation is equal for men and women. And
I feel like people are coming from broken homes where you find either the dad was not functional or the mom was not functional, and you really do not want anything called quote-unquote love or a relationship, or just a setup where I'll have to stay with the same person for a very long time. I think it triggers a lot of bad memories about where you just grew up and stuff. So I also feel like people carry baggages from their relationships, previous relationships. Also, being in the 21st century, I'm working, he's working, he expects me to come home later than him and still cook when his legs are up on the sofa and stuff. So I feel like sometimes it's not realistic, because if you expect me to come in and help in on the bills, and it's only right for you to help around the house, it's not a must, but it's something that should be thoughtful, because I think with the right communication and understanding of what we do on a daily basis, me communicating what I need help with and him communicating what he needs help with, I think really settles a lot of non-issues. Because you'll find, especially coming from a traditional setup where your mind is still stuck on what used to happen in the past, where the woman's place is in the kitchen and the man is there to be served, I think that is a mentality that most people, especially men, sorry to say, carry around when getting into marriage, without considering the fact that we are living in a new era where every one of us is working. Both of us have careers to just take care of. We also have a family that needs to be taken care of. So once we strike a balance on who will help with what, just that support around the house, I think it solves a lot of issues.
It's because nowadays people have learned that you don't have to stick to a toxic marriage. Yeah, people are learning a lot of things about marriage, and I guess that's what is making divorce rates go high. People are not into marriage anymore. I think people have now learned that they can be happy without being in a marriage.
So first of all, we have social media. In this time and age, most of us are in social media, and we want to see ourselves doing better than others. And in this manner, you find that you're in a relationship and it's not doing well. So you want it to look like someone else. So sometimes you find that people are leaving each other because of social media, something that should not be affecting your relationship. So social media has really been something that has affected many relationships, and you see that many people are now breaking up. So that's what I can say about social media. Also, I think poor communication. You find that you're dating this person. Yes, you all have your lives, you're busy, you have work, but you're not texting your significant other hi, how's your day? It's actually good to text someone and just know how they're faring on. So poor communication in that manner. Also, maybe you're having unresolved issues where if you just talked about it, it would be sorted. And then I'm thinking this time Nairobi is one big bedroom. You find that you really want to date for sure. Maybe you're just like, hey, this is the year I want to date. But then you're like, hey, if I date this person and this is Nairobi, this person will not be loyal to me. So you just end up not dating or just falling out with this person who maybe you've been trying to see because you believe that it won't work because you're in Nairobi. So it's something that has been normalized. Every time you just come to Nairobi, it's called Kanairo, the one big bedroom. So clearly that's not how relationships should be. And for me, I'd say relationships are supposed to build you, they're supposed to make you a better person, and it should not just be the basics about you.
In my view, like I said earlier, you guys come from different worlds. So the divorce rates come about when, say for instance, you guys face an obstacle and you can't handle the situation well. So in that instance, you find that maybe you end up, it was a small thing that you could handle, but it escalates because you find that maybe both your egos are high. And then another thing that leads to divorce, I can say, is over expectations. People get to marriages and they have those high expectations about someone. Say for instance, you have a high expectation about your partner, and then you realize when you are already in the marriage that this is not the person I wanted to have. So instead of trying to correct and then try to understand the person, you have those wrangles that maybe they lead to divorce.
I get amazed when people say, oh, I got into marriage because I love him, and the person, maybe the man is not working. Such marriages, I bet you, at the end of the day, will definitely crash. Will definitely crash, even the woman. So we should all have at the back of our mind that irrespective of love, understanding, and the rest, money, and when I mean money, I mean money, finances is very important in marriage. Even you being the woman providing and saying, okay, my husband does not have a job, he's still looking for a job, you know, one day you will get tired. And by the time you get tired, you start seeing the fault of the man. He's lazy, he's this, he's that. And you should know that your marriage is already taking a nose deep downwards, which definitely might, end up in broken home or divorce or infidelity, as the case may be, or domestic violence. Okay, so we should always encourage and look out for finances too. As we are having at back of our mind that we love this person and we can't do without them, we should also look at, in the next 5 years, this man does not have a job now and I'm ready to start up with him. In the next 5 years, where is he going to be? Will I still be able to love him without money at such point or not? And also, talking about our children. We have gotten testimonies of marriages that, the couples will say, I want to enjoy my marriage for the first 2 years. I don't want kids. We have people that, just like that, due to one reason or the other, they have delays in childbirth. We have other situations where we even have marriages that immediately they got married, they have children. Children are blessings from God. So in every angle of it, we need to look at them, even in marriages and even in our long-term relationship. If you are looking at it and say, okay, I want to rest for 2 years before I start thinking about having a child, what happens within 1 year? What if your husband starts telling you, no, we can't wait for another 2 years? What if the family members from the father's side, from your husband's side, or from your own side, pressure come in? What happens at that point? And even when these children comes, how do we manage them? You will say, okay, because I have a job, I have a business, I'm career driven, both the father and the mother, in the morning you're already out of the house, you left your children to the mercy of your word in the house, as in your house helps. At the end of the day, what good attributes will they come up with?